And you should keep going. I will sit here and stand by what I said. I believe that
on that I just read to you.
Yeah.
Do you wish you hadn't said that?
I understand how it's been misconstrued. I understand how it's been weaponized against me. Do I regret it because it's been weaponized and used against me? Well, that's slightly annoying.
That's not why I want you to
Did I at the time mean what I said in the context of the conversation, which obviously you're not familiar with and the people at home are not familiar with? No, I meant what I said.
Nigga, what?
Woo! That's how it is. Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notifications button so you can get the videos as soon as I put them out. If you're looking for the music to the intro and you want the link to the second channel, both are below in the description. But can you do me a favor? Hit the notifications button right now. All right, guys, today is going to be a small little recap where I'm going to be reacting to just a little segment of the Andrew Tate and the Piers Morgan video, which is one of the good interviews that I think you guys should go watch right now. In this segment, they're still discussing his views on an 18-year-old woman and a 25-year-old woman, and he's standing by it. This interview is an interview that I want a lot of you guys to watch, because in a lot of cases, when a lot of these red pill guys get in front of situations like this, they tend to fold. One thing that Andrew Tate did in this interview, he did not bend or fold at all, and he stuck with his guns. Let's get to it.
25-year-old women that just talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up in.
I wasn't talking about myself, even. I was talking with a Muslim guy who was on the panel, and he was explaining how youth is very valued in most parts of the world, and why virginity is valued in most parts of the world. And the feminists were arguing against it. The conversation has been misunderstood. They've taken this clip of it, and it's been weaponized and used against me. I understand that is because I am now the most famous Google person on the planet.
I think the danger, if it concerns you, the danger is the influence you have on young men to have this kind of mindset about women. And that's really where I'm trying to get to, what you really believe and how much you've just shot off because you think it's like entertaining and you haven't really given it much thought.
He's right. I can understand where Piers Morgan is coming from, where it looks like he's so extreme that what he's doing is either an act because he has a big effect on younger boys. But what Piers is not understanding is he's taking full responsibility for being a role model. Everything that Andrew Tate is saying right now is not bad. And this is the type of stuff that men talk about in the locker room. If you get around a group of women, when they start talking about guys, they always talk about manipulation, how to manipulate men. Women teach themselves how to corrupt men way worse than what a man says about a woman. You want to know why? Because it's hard for a man to use his game. It's easy for a woman to. A woman can learn something off of another woman in the morning, and she can have a new guy to practice on by the afternoon. But it doesn't work like that. Some of you guys and most guys are going to learn knowledge about women now, but they may not be able to use it to a year down the road, because that may be the next time that they get the opportunity to see a woman. When it's all said and done, this is nothing but locker room talk.
If you hadn't said stuff like this, you'd probably still be on these platforms. You'd be massively more popular, massively more famous, massively richer. So I'm really just trying to get to, on the blatantly misogynist stuff, do you just wish you hadn't said it?
Like I said at the time, with the context of the conversation, I know that I'm not saying things which I believe to be detrimental to the world. However, they've been misconstrued, they've been misunderstood.
If a 25-year-old woman was watching this, would you say, I'm sorry for saying that?
Piers, please let me finish.
Yeah, but you're behaving like a politician. But hang on. You can say I'm interrupting.
You do.
But you're answering a different question to the one I asked you.
Piers is real good at trying to twist your words up. Like every time Andrew goes to answer, he hurries up and interrupts him so he doesn't get a full sentence out. So he's able to not think clearly. This is a psychological game that he's playing. This is why people are so attracted to his interviews. It's because he knows how to deter someone's answer and put it back onto him looking like he's right. This is a skill that is learned that a lot of people use. It isn't the tactics that he's using in this interview is tactics that people use in day-to-day life in order to push agendas, in order to win debates. You could be losing a debate, but if you could convince the other person to trip over their thoughts, you can win a debate even when you're wrong. It's all about mind trickery. That's what he's doing.
Would you just say to her, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that?
No, I won't. I will say that I am sorry that that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world.
That doesn't mean you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry if that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world that believe that, and I was mediating for a conversation.
Parts of the world that...
Let's stop right there. That's gangster. What you just saw him do, that's gangster. What he said, no, I'm not apologizing. I'm still standing by it. That's gangster. You have to be willing to hold your own. Stand for something or you will fall for anything. Gotta love Andrew.
believe that about 26-year-old women are parts of the world where women are not allowed out on their own.
That's a conversation.
They have to wear full burqas.
Well, that's a conversation.
They're not allowed to drive cars.
That's nothing to do with it.
But is that the kind of world for women that you?
I was mediating a conversation.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I was talking about
it's your belief.
I was talking about what the people on the panel believe the difference is.
See, what Piers isn't understanding, you can say that these countries don't allow women to do this. These countries don't allow women to do that. You have to understand, those are also the countries where most of the women are married and are living lives with their families. In Middle Eastern countries, one thing that they do is be a family and practice family first. That's more important to them because their religion is catered to the Bible. So when he says these women are not allowed to do this, these women are not allowed to do this, he's not understanding the mind of a woman. There's a reason why these women are covered up. There's a reason why they tell you the women are supposed to cover up, to block out the desires of a man. Because if you let a woman roll around free and being sexually free, men are going to always think of her differently. But we're supposed to let women walk around teasing men's desires, and we're supposed to treat them like they're normal people. That's what's going on. You got to realize too, Piers is one of them old dudes, so they're on that other side. I don't even think he like women. I think the marriage is just a cover up.
So what do you think the difference is?
I think the difference is age.
What's the difference then?
I feel like you're trying to pin me down.
If it's not what you believe, just say, I don't believe that.
What part wouldn't I believe?
Well, you tell me which part you don't believe. There's the sentence. Which part would you now say you don't believe?
You see how he's tricking his words up. Now he's handed him the card, telling him to read it and what he don't believe. He's tricking his mind up to make Andrew look like he's lying, to make it look like he's bad. What he's trying to get him to do is say that he's sorry. He's trying to get him to apologize. He's trying to break him down. If he can break Andrew Tate down, he's doing what others are unable to do. That's what Piers Morgan is doing. He's representing everybody that cannot shut Andrew Tate up, because no matter what he does, he's becoming more popular and more popular. The world isn't realizing that you can try to hold him down, but when you start realizing how much money his name makes, everybody's going to start jumping aboard here soon. Don't worry. He will be back on social.
I believe that 25-year-old women perhaps have had, because they've been alive longer, maybe have had more partners, but I don't believe that makes them a bad person.
Right. But you understand that the way you phrased it makes every 25-year-old woman feel a bad person.
No, I don't think so.
Of course you do. So why say it?
Well, this is the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is, when I was not nearly as famous and I was making long format content, I was not sitting there anticipating I'd become the most Googled man on the planet and that a few seconds could be taken out of context.
You went on.
And he's right. Everybody has taken old clippings. You went back 5 years to cancel him. And at that time, he wasn't expecting to be the most Googled person, thinking that that interview or that clip would get out of hand. You're trying to get him to answer questions on old material. Do he regret doing the old material? No, at that time, he meant what he says. You have to understand, in the world that we live in, it's easy to convince someone of a lie because everyone is running away from the truth. No one wants the truth because the truth itself comes with so much pain. But the lie is easy for you to feel good. You don't have to face accountability.
To say about authority over women. If I have a responsibility over it, I must have a degree of authority. Yeah. For the same reason, if I have responsibility over and people are going to use their mind, it's an example, an analogy, responsibility over a child, I have to have some authority. Yeah. So you believe as part of your ownership or your property of the woman, you have authority over her.
No, I believe if you have...
That's what you said.
I believe if you have responsibility over something, you have to have a degree of authority or you can't be responsible.
Yeah, but authority means, again, that you're the boss.
The point I'm making here is very simple. You have children and you're responsible for their safety. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have authority to say, don't go out at night, perhaps because you want them to be safe.
I have legal authority.
You have a legal authority.
Yeah.
Legal authority. I'm saying that if I had a woman, and the question where you've raised this soundbite from, I was asked, about protecting a woman, making sure she's safe. And I would say, I wouldn't want her to go out at night on her own because I'm responsible for her safety. And someone said, well, you don't have authority over her to do that. And I said, well, no, I can't force her to stay inside. But if she were to ask me, how do I protect myself at night? I would say, well, you should stay inside. That's how you should do it.
I don't have an issue with what
So
you
we
just
agree.
Said. No.
It's the semantics.
No, it's not.
Okay, what he's trying to do is twist his words up. All right? He was asked in an interview, what would he do in a relationship if a woman gave him the authority to protect her? He says, well, she's giving me the authority to look after her. Then someone says, oh, authority, you don't have the authority over her. See, what's happening is society is making it that everything that comes out of a man's mouth is offensive to a woman. The backlash of all of this is that you're making men not want to date women. You're making men not approach women. You're making men regret being with a woman. And now the women are like, I'm getting a divorce, the grass is greener. I'm getting a divorce, the grass is greener, because men are acting weird because of how women are acting victimized and that they're entitled to something. So you have a whole bunch of women that are becoming single. And you have a whole bunch of single women acting like they're single. But everybody wants to be in a relationship. It's just that they're psychologically confused as to what's going on because women follow trends. So if they see all the girls getting a divorce, they're going to get a divorce. If they see all the girls doing certain things, they're going to do it. But when they stop and they look at life, the grass is not greener on the other side. You're just going to find yourself lonely and sad. Them little girls that you hang around with to applaud you and tell you what you want to hear, eventually the little girl's going to get a man to move on. And the girl who thought she was doing better is going to find herself alone. That's what's going to happen.
It's not semantics. And this is where I don't think you quite get why there's a furore over what you say.
When it comes to things like personal responsibility or personal safety, men, largely by society, are accepted. We're the protectors and providers. We can sit here and pretend that in the world we live in, if me and my wife were walking down the street and men were to come up and try and attack us, I wouldn't be the one fighting. But we both know in reality I would.
Right.
I have a degree of responsibility to protect her. So if I have a degree of responsibility to protect her physically, then the point I'm trying to make is I will do my best to make sure she's never putting herself in unsafe situations.
You wish you hadn't used the word authority.
The authority is something that she would give to me. She would come to me and say, how can I make sure I'm as safe as possible?
But I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to point out that's not what authority means.
If someone gives, a person can give
voluntary authority is not authority.
No, but that's the point.
If
Piers.
Andrew, stop.
Piers, if a woman comes to me and says, I want you to keep me safe, she is handing me authority for her safety.
Andrew is absolutely right. What Piers tried to do in this interview is pretty much make him look like a misogynist. What's a misogynist? A man with standards. A man that's going to point out the obvious. What women are not understanding is you really want to be a wife. You really want to be a mom. You really want a man to love you. Outside of all this mess you're pretending to be, you really want love. Society has messed it up for you. Society has turned you into a call girl. Society has turned you into a sexual object. Now men are just like, how much do you charge? We don't want to love you. We don't want to take you out. We don't want to be next to you. We just want to know how much do it cost to clap cheeks. That's where men are at, ladies. You keep highing your standards. No one's going. Like what guy is really chasing them? The only guys that are chasing women now are mentally ill. Little boys. They're sitting there, little friends to talk to you. They're trying to get hookups through other people. But you can see through them and you know they just need sex. They ain't really a real man. They just doing whatever they got to do. You're stuck with them because all the real ones are going to avoid you and they're going to go seek out the real women that really matters. This is Anthony Spade. If you guys haven't got over there and watched this interview, this is a very good interview. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. And this was just clips. The original one is on Piers Morgan channel. Hasta la vista.